Hey, I'm Anthony from bestbluesguitarlessonsonline.com. In this video we will compare two guitars to have a definite winner in the blues guitar battle of all times. Which is the best guitar for blues guitar playing, the Gibson Les Paul model or the Stratocaster model, and we will explore all the pros and the cons of both guitars. To start out, a big winner for the Stratocaster model, we have a whammy bar. And this is good for multiple reasons. If you're a guitarist, you love whammy bars, of course, but also we can produce very wobbly tones. And this isn't only because of the whammy bar, but it's because we have a floating bridge. And the Stratocaster model, as you probably seen in one of the other videos I did when I compared the Stratocaster versus the Telecaster model, we talked about this floating bridge. And the floating bridge, you can see here that it moves while I, for instance, use the whammy bar. But it doesn't only move when I use the whammy bar. If I bend a string, you can also see that the strings, they are very responding to it. And this is an advantage for the Stratocaster if you want to play clean, wobbly, very warm, bright tones, because like Stevie Ray Vaughan did later in his career with the ballads he wrote, Lenny for instance, Riviera Paradise is another example. We can use this very good to our advantage if we want to play clean blues guitar solos without all the fast-paced stuff. And the Strat responds very well also to small dynamic changes in attack. If you want to play with the fingers, the Strat is very responsive to it. Or if you want to play hybrid picking with fingers and the pick as well. It does that very good. So on to the Les Paul model. The Les Paul model, whether it's a proper Gibson or an Epiphone, it's the same animal basically. It's very good also for playing clean, but it's less responsive to small dynamic changes in my opinion. And also if you want to go after that wobbly, very warm Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of tone that the Strat produces very well, you won't find that on the Les Paul model. It's a more direct feel on this guitar, and while it has some advantages, I personally prefer for clean playing the Strat. Which brings us to another point. If you want to go after high energy soloing like with Overdrive on, like the Gary Moore kind of playing, the modern style Joe Bonamassa playing, you want to look into the Les Paul model, of course. And this is the Overdrive pedal that I'm using now on this Les Paul model. And as you can see, the notes ring out very long on this guitar, so it has a good sustain. This is because we're not playing on a floating bridge, we're playing on a fixed bridge. So there aren't any springs in the back of this guitar. The strings are nicely tied into the fixed bridge. And because of the strings have more direct contact with this bridge, and the bridge is fixed onto the body of the guitar, hence the name fixed bridge, we have more sustain. And it's a little a bit of an improvement, but if you want to play long lead guitar notes with vibrato, and so on, then the Les Paul model takes that very, very well. But when talking about adding overdrive tones to our guitar playing, for instance, if we play with an overdrive pedal, we're also talking about Rory Gallagher. And Rory Gallagher, the late great blues guitarist, played very much on all of his guitar solos almost on a Stratocaster model with overdriven guitar sounds. So this guitar also takes really well the overdriven sounds. But as you might notice, there's a little bit lack of sustain here. So you can see the note dies a bit earlier here on the Strat. We might say it dies a lot earlier, and this is because of the pickups here. Here we have the single coil pickups. If you compare this to the humbucker pickups of the Les Paul model, you know that this Les Paul model has more output, while we are playing with just a normal single coil, and this is due to the fact that we're experiencing less sustain also. And compare this with the fact that we have the floating bridge here, and you know what the Stratocaster is and isn't capable of. But if you ask me for blues guitar playing, especially lead guitar playing with warm, bright sounding solos, for instance in the Stevie Ray Vaughan style, the clean playing, I would say this is definitely the winner for blues guitar playing. But of course, this depends on your own personal taste. It's a personal opinion. So if you have another opinion, that's fine. You can also drop us a comment in the chat. I'll like to know what you think, what your preferred animal is to play for blues guitar playing. And also, if you like this video, give it the thumbs up. It's always greatly appreciated to hear from you. So drop a comment, give a like. And also visit the website at bestbluesguitarlessonsonline.com where you will find lots of free resources that you can download, like a free resource, free guide on how to play more advanced blues guitar solos.